My name is thinness. Today I will be orating for you a statement previously delivered by Naomi Wolf at a July 1997 congressional briefing titled "Dying to be Thin: The Prevention of Eating Disorders and the Federal Policy." Naomi Wolf is a well-known American journalist and author of bestsellers such as ThinThe, which explores the relationship between women and religion, work, and hunger, among other issues. In many societies, a lot of emphasis is placed on beauty and thinness, especially for women and girls. This can have direct consequences on the quality of their lives and their mental health as well. My job is to flesh out a bit the sociocultural pressures of women and the cultural picture that I saw as a young woman coming of age. I began to notice that the best and brightest young women of my generation could barely get through the survival issues of their day. They could barely stay on top of schoolwork, barely stay on top of social relations, because so many of them were starving themselves half to death or spending a lot of time vomiting compulsively behind closed doors, struggling with eating disorders. I began to take a closer look at what this ideal was that so many women were trying to live up to. It turns out it's profoundly unnatural. 20 years ago, the average fashion model weighed 8% less than the average woman. Today, the average fashion model weighs 23% less than the average woman. I, unfortunately, know all too much about anorexia from my own personal experience. When I was 13, perfectly average sized kid, a boy poked me in the stomach and said, "Watch it, Wolf." The implication was that I was getting chubby, and I immediately did what Cosmo suggests I should do. I went on a calorie-restricted diet. I was successful. Within 2 or 3 weeks, I lost 5 pounds, but I could also no longer eat normally. I had anorexia for a year. It was the most painful year of my life. At the darkest point of that year, I weighed 83 pounds, and I was 5'4". My family doctor said he could feel my spine through my stomach. More devastating perhaps than the physical harm I was doing to myself, and I could not stop doing, was the psychological toll it took on me. Because all the things I should have been thinking as a 13-year-old girl, adventure, what I wanted to be when I grew up, my schoolwork, boys, travel, who I was, what the world was, what awaited me in the world. All these things were supplanted by thoughts about food. I dreamt of food. My entire consciousness was taken up by food. Now, thank God for that doctor when he told me by the end of that year that this is stupid, this is not worth dying for, and allowed me to force myself to consume more calories. As I consumed more calories, my mind cleared. It was a long process, but I was able to recover. This has led me to examine anorexia in other ways than merely a personal neurosis. If you think you are free to be at your own weight or your own size, very often there's what are called the PDQ, or professional beauty quotient, in the workplace. In retail, in sales, not to mention the media and television work, many women find this PDQ operating. Flight attendants are protested about this. Many women find that they are expected to fit a rigidly thin ideal in order to stay employed. For many women, their appearance is the criteria by which their workplace abilities are measured, and that, as such, is an illegal employment issue. We need to take this seriously, because parents are at a loss. I have suggestions for your consideration. Consider readiness in the modeling industry. So many models are adolescent girls. They use 14-year-old girls and pad them up to look 35. And it's common knowledge in the modeling industry that many models have to keep their weight down through drug use, through smoking, and through anorexia. If you have doctors making sure that these employment conditions are safe, meaning that women and girls did not have to maintain their weight at starvation levels in order to work, then you go a long way in making sure that an industry that influences girls is not using teenage girls in a punitive or abusive way to maintain that ideal. If you enforce, for instance, the kind of work with dieting companies, making sure they are not defrauding women or getting women to do something dangerous and unhealthy, such as extreme calorie-restricted diets, then you go a long way, not only in stemming this epidemic, but in giving our women, and most importantly, our daughters, the message that they are too precious to waste themselves in pursuit of this unhealthy and, I would say, this anti-woman